Welcome to The Debate. Our topic today digs into a concept we see everywhere, really. Arts, sports, even just problem solving in daily life. And that's the nature of talent. It's this word we use all the time, often to explain why someone is just exceptionally good at something.
Right.
So the central question we'll be exploring is this. Does what we call talent, does it mostly come from some kind of innate, natural gift, something you're just born with? Or is it predominantly something cultivated, something built up through, practice, hard work, and your environment?
Mm-hmm.
This whole discussion really springs from some material we've looked at, examining this journey of discovering artistic expression. Now, I'll be arguing that talent is, fundamentally an inherent thing, an aptitude you possess.
And I'll be taking the view that actually talent is largely a product of deliberate cultivation, of nurture over nature, if you will. It's about the work you put in.
Interesting. Well, let me lay out my position. I believe talent fundamentally stems from what our source material specifically calls a natural ability to do something well. It's an inherent gift, which, yes, is then strengthened through effort. I don't deny that.
Sure.
But the text explicitly defines talent that way, the natural ability to do something well. It talks about Lena, the person in the story, realizing she had a natural gift, something she'd, quote, never taken seriously before. That word realization is key for me. It implies something was already there, an underlying capacity just waiting to be, uncovered, not created from scratch.
Mm-hmm. And then there's that moment, Lena's spontaneous drawing on stage. People gasped in amazement at the detail, the life she created in, just a few minutes. That points to something exceptional, something unpracticed that just appeared. It suggests a powerful, innate predisposition. That raw material was simply there.
See, I approach this quite differently. While yes, maybe there's an initial inclination, perhaps a heightened sensitivity, I'd argue that what we ultimately recognize, what we label as talent, is overwhelmingly forged. It's built through persistent practice, effort, and passion.
But the source...
Well, the same material you're citing also clearly states that talent grows stronger with practice, effort, and passion. So while Lena might have shown some early aptitude, fine. Her becoming a designer years later, that was a direct result of her choice, her decision to, and I quote, practice drawing every evening, turning her room into a mini studio.
Right. The practice is there.
Exactly. This sustained, deliberate dedication, plus, the encouragement she got, that highlights the power of cultivation. It transforms potential. Without that consistent effort, that natural gift, however strong it might seem initially, it could have just stayed dormant. It needed that nurturing.
I understand the point about practice being necessary, absolutely. It's crucial for refinement, for mastery. We even use phrases like nurture talent, develop talent. I get that. But I frame it differently. Practice doesn't create the fundamental capacity, the thing that sets someone apart initially.
You don't think so?
No. Think about Lena again, sketching that complex scene of mountains and rivers with such detail, such life, in just a few minutes, on stage, before she started that dedicated, structured practice regimen. That demonstrates something pre-existing, doesn't it? An artistic sensitivity, maybe a natural hand-eye coordination, a way of seeing. That's different. The practice then builds on that foundation. It polishes it, yes, but it didn't lay the groundwork.
Well, I'm just not entirely convinced by that line of reasoning. Because this whole idea of a natural gift, it can be a bit misleading, I think. What we perceive as natural ability might often just be, an early, very strong interest that leads someone to practice more on their own. They accumulate skills, maybe without anyone noticing, until there's a moment like Lena's on stage.
Mm-hmm.
And the material itself gives us other words to consider, doesn't it? It lists dedication, potential, inspiration, achievement. All of those point towards a process, an active engagement, development over time. Lena's story ending with her having a career as a designer that emphasizes the journey, the skill acquisition through sustained effort. It wasn't just about that one moment revealing an innate ability that was fully formed. The mastery comes from the work.
I still think that moment where Lena realized she had a natural gift is absolutely pivotal. It wasn't that she'd practiced secretly for years and then suddenly became good. It was the immediate, really striking quality of her performance without that prior practice that alerted her and the audience to this exceptional capacity. It was sudden.
Right.
And look at the other phrases used: discover a talent, spot talent, recognize talent. Doesn't that suggest talent is something you find, something you perceive that's already there, rather than something you purely construct through work? The audience's amazement, it implies something unexpected almost, well, beyond just effort, something intrinsic.
That's a fair point about discovery, and I see why you emphasize that moment. But couldn't discovery just be the moment someone identifies a strong interest or a skill that's just starting, which they then choose to cultivate? It's like finding a spark, sure, but you still need to build the fire.
Mm-hmm.
The material insists that talent grows stronger with practice, effort, and passion. Now, if it only needed to be discovered, why put so much stress on its development? Why does it need to grow stronger? Lena's transformation from an ordinary student into a designer, that's a testament to continuous development. It required dedication, it required achieving mastery. That doesn't sound like just unveiling something already complete. Even a strong, natural leaning needs a huge amount of work to become real, recognized talent. Her setting up that studio, practicing every night, that speaks volumes about intentional effort, not just letting a gift unfold on its own.
Okay, but if it's purely about cultivation, purely the work, how do you explain those people who seem to reach a really high level with significantly less apparent effort or in less time than others? If it's just about putting in the hours, the deliberate practice, what accounts for those differences in the rate people learn or the seeming ceiling some people hit? Lena's drawing was amazing because it was unpracticed. It wasn't just okay, it made people gasp. That strongly suggests her starting point was qualitatively different, not just her later dedication. That inherent capacity allows for faster growth, maybe a higher potential.
I don't think those observations necessarily contradict my view. What looks like less effort or time might actually hide a higher quality of practice. Perhaps more focused, more deliberate practice, maybe starting earlier in life. Or it could be driven by such strong intrinsic motivation that the effort doesn't feel like effort to them, you know?
Yeah, perhaps.
Research on expertise often points to that combination: focused effort, pushing boundaries, getting immediate feedback. It's not just mindless repetition, it's intelligent practice. So the rate of acquisition could just reflect how effectively someone engages in that process, which can be influenced by environment too: good teachers, encouragement, early chances. Lena's unpracticed drawing, well, maybe it was a culmination of years of just observing, doodling, thinking visually, kinds of practice that weren't formalized until that moment. And maybe the ceiling of potential is higher for most of us than we think if we had the right dedication and environment. We might just be too quick to label something a gift when it's really the result of years of hidden, focused work.
So you're essentially suggesting that what looks innate is really just earlier, maybe unnoticed practice and interests combined. But does that truly capture the experience Lena had? That feeling of realization, of discovering a gift within herself? It felt like an internal recognition, not just the sum of past actions. And what about genetics? We're learning more about how genetic predispositions can influence things like cognitive abilities, motor skills, even creativity. Surely environment and practice act on a biological reality that isn't the same for everyone. That natural gift could be that underlying, that blueprint.
I absolutely agree the subjective experience is powerful, and yes, biology plays a role. Nobody's denying the complexity here. But just calling it a natural gift might oversimplify things. That internal awakening you mentioned, maybe that's the moment where a predisposition finally meets the right opportunity and, crucially, the dedication to develop it. It's the spark that lights the fuse of the will to cultivate. When the material keeps emphasizing that talent grows stronger with practice, effort, and passion, it really shifts the focus, doesn't it? From something static you inherit to something dynamic that evolves.
even with a genetic advantage, it rarely turns into top-tier talent without huge environmental support and just relentless personal investment. We might start with different raw materials, sure, but it's the work, the craftsmanship, the dedication, the smart practice that shapes it into something truly impressive. Without Lena choosing to make that studio, choosing to practice daily, that natural gift might have just been a nice story about something that happened once on stage, not the foundation of her career.
So, to summarize my position then, while practice and effort are clearly indispensable for refining talent, for bringing it to full expression, the very essence of talent, as it's described and shown in our material, really lies in that natural ability, that natural gift. Lena's story, for me, illustrates the discovery of that inherent capacity, which then became the unique foundation for everything she achieved later. Practice unlocked it, maximized it, but didn't create it.
And I'll summarize by maintaining that while yes, individuals might have different starting points or inclinations, the impactful manifestation of talent, especially reaching the level of a career of genuine mastery, is predominantly shaped by conscious, consistent practice, dedication, and passion. Lena's journey really underscores that active cultivation, the commitment over time, and how much the environment matters in nurturing that growth. It's the sustained, intelligent effort that truly transforms potential into something exceptional that we can all see.
Well, both viewpoints certainly highlight the complexity here, don't they? Understanding how skills, gifts, these natural abilities, how they all weave together to shape someone's path. The material definitely gives us a lot to think about regarding that interplay between what seems given and what is painstakingly grown.
Absolutely. It's a fascinating dance, isn't it? Between potential and dedication. And often the most interesting part is how they work together, how they synergize.
Thank you for joining us on The Debate. We appreciate your insights and hope our listeners continue to think about these ideas.
Thank you. Always good to explore these kinds of nuanced topics with you.
Goodbye.